I take another sip of my coffee, dark roast black, just the way I like it, and I take in the scene around me. The local Hollymore diner is as busy as ever, and I closely examine the traits of everyone that walks in. Hollymore is a small town of 950 with a police department a grand total of 25 strong. It's the perfect place for someone like me. You see, I have a special ability to read people. Take the man sitting at the counter. Loose and tie, a pained look on his face. He just lost his job. The waitress serving that couple in the corner, messy hair, no makeup, tired. She just lost someone dear to her and is struggling to make ends meet. However, there are a select few in this world that I cannot read, and they anger me, make me want to do bad things, violent things. And like my mother always said, never refuse your urges. Excuse me, sir, but we're out of rye bread. Would you like something else for your toast? The other waitress is back, and she's pretty in a 50s pin-up way, with long blonde wavy hair and a beauty mark beneath her right eye. Just sourdough is fine, thank you. I reply with a smile. She smiles back and walks away. She's one of the few I can't read. Such a happy exterior, there has to be some sort of pain behind her eyes, and I can't see it. If there's one thing I've learned in my time on this earth, it's that there is no human life without pain. Later she brings me my toast and I ask her for a number under the pretext of a date at the local movie theater. Thankfully she obliges and I tell her I'll pick her up from her house at 7 tonight. On my way out of the diner doors, I silently thank my father for his good looks, and remember that he also had urges. I check the address one more time before going to knock on her door. As soon as I got to the motel where I'm staying, under a false name of course, I did some research via the ever-helpful web and pulled up some info on her. Her name is Sophia Bradshaw. She is 23 years of age, with no living family except for a distant cousin. 98 years old and a few friends. Sophia Bradshaw won't be missed. Darling Sophia answered the door on the third knock. How adorable. She'd been waiting. She smiled and took my arm as I led her to my car. A 1965 cherry red Mustang. Yes, I'm aware, not the most inconspicuous of cars, but the best hiding is done in plain sight. And we got in. She had her hair pulled up in a bun with thick winged eyeliner and red lipstick. Definitely a pin-up look, and was wearing a fairly tight red and white polka dot dress. Oh god, I just couldn't wait to see it splattered with blood. Where are we going? She asked as I made yet another turn towards the old abandoned farm I staked out a few days ago. Well, to the movie theater, of course, darling, I replied with a chuckle. But the movie theater is 15 minutes behind us. Bless her sweet heart. Sophia Bradshaw, I'm of course driving you to your beautiful death. We're going to go see a real-life movie. It's a murder mystery, and unfortunately, the victim this time is you. She's scared now and tried to open her door, but I locked it when she got in. To keep her from causing a scene, I pull over and extract a chloroform-soaked rag out of my pocket and cover her nose and mouth. Night-night, my little actress. I whisper as her eyes roll back in her head and her eyelids fall. I finished driving the rest of the way to the farmhouse, and I set her down on the surgical table I had set up, then started unpacking my tools. As I'm straightening up my scalpels, I hear rustling coming from the table, and I walk over to find Sophia awake and terrified. Luckily, I strapped her down and gagged her, so she hadn't started screaming yet. Okay, dear, I'm going to take the gag off, but you can't scream, okay? She nodded at me with her big blue eyes. Oh, God, I couldn't wait to rip them out of her sockets. And I took off the gag. As expected, she screamed as loudly as possible. They always do. Well, it's a good thing no one can hear you, isn't it? I say in her ear as she starts to quiet down. Then I take the scalpel in my right hand and trace the outline of her face, starting from her forehead. Please, I don't want to die. I just laugh. The unreadables never want to die because they don't know pain. And I start to trace her mouth, eyes, ears, and so forth. Oh god, there's so much blood now that I have to keep wiping her face with a wet rag to make sure I'm doing my work properly. Then I move on to the rest of her body. You know, I really like killing unreadables, because during so, I become their god, and the only thing they show me is fear. After I've outlined every feature, I start to cut off her fingers and toes, joint by joint, and then move on to her limbs. Halfway through sawing off her left arm, I notice she's not breathing, and her pulse stops. What a shame. I didn't get to say goodbye. Oh well. I tear out her eyes and I set them aside. They are today's trophy, and they will be treated as such. When all is said and done, I go on to carve her number, 35, since she is my 35th victim, onto her stomach. Finally, I clean myself up, grab my trophies, and get in my car to drive to a new town. Maybe I'll go to a big city. And maybe I'll find victim 36.